So this is the beginning of a crab salad. I make crab salad a lot of times with fish, and my son caught some trout, and so we're going to put together kind of a seafood feast today. So my crab salad starts with 1.5 pounds imitation crab. Make sure you have probably a couple cups of mayonnaise, some kind of seasoned salt or something to give it a little bit of pizzazz. I use sliced olives that I cut up a little bit more and use. You can get the other crushed olives or whatever if you like. A little bit of dill weed, a little bit of salt, some pepper. So I got a couple Roma tomatoes and a lemon and a couple pieces of celery and the cheese, which is sharp cheddar shredded. And so I will kind of walk you through the steps of how I prepare and put together my crab salad. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is cut off our imitation crab. Just basically slice it into chunks like that, and then cubes. Okay, just, no bigger than that. I'll break that one down a little bit. Basically that's what we're going to be trying to do. We want big enough chunks to where we can have a crab salad, right, of substance, but we also need to be able to mix it with all the other ingredients. Add the juice from a whole lemon. And now about a teaspoon of salt. And then you just mix it around a little bit. We're going to set this aside, okay? And just let it kind of soak up and absorb the lemon juice, and let the salt kind of work on the surimi. So a lot of times with the olives, basically you'll just want to cut them in half and then in half again, typically, if that's how you like your olives. I had a request that I leave them big enough to pick out of the salad, which is fine. So in that case, I just go with the halves. I don't like going with the whole sliced part of the olive. It's just a little much. The reason I like the olives in the salad, it's a good buffer for the acidity of the lemon juice. It kind of takes the edge off of that. The crab will do a lot of that, but I do like the olives for that as well. So I decided with about half of them, I would just go ahead and leave them sliced. And so, as you can see, you just kind of mix it in a little bit. We're not worried about really breaking anything up right now. We're just letting it work together. So you might be surprised to see celery in a crab salad. What I'm going to do, I use it just for snap. It has a little crunch, Otherwise the salad just has no flair, right? It's just all soft. If you don't have celery, a carrot will work. Just make sure you shred it up, right? And it'll give it a little bit of flavor, but not as much as you might think. And basically, again, this is just to give it a little bit of texture. Make sure when you cut the celery, you do it very thin. I mean, see that? You can almost see through that. You just want to make sure you get a little bit in there, a little snap whenever people eat it, so it's just not some boring salad. So, a couple pieces of celery makes half to 3/4 of a cup. And again, just dump it on in here and give it a light toss. Don't worry about breaking up the chunks just yet. They're starting to probably break down a little bit here and there. If you're feeling aggressive, maybe smack one. You take that chunk. So I guess if that's take a little aggression out on a salad, hey, it's a pretty good day. So our next ingredient is probably the most important ingredient. It's the glue that holds it all together. Of course, mayonnaise. Okay, this is basically a to-taste item. I like to, in a salad this size, put no more than a cup, but definitely, you know, I'm going to say 3/4 of a cup anyway. Maybe a little more, maybe a cup, you know, so about that much. And I'll start with that because remember, you can always add more. You can't take any out. Okay, so keep that in mind. So now you also go ahead and add a decent amount of, I'm going to say, you know, a teaspoon of black pepper, ground black pepper. Tiny, look, dill with crab, a little goes a long way. It's great with lemon and seafood, so that's why we do add just a little smidgen. So any of you want to look up the technical amount for smidgen, it's just a tad more than a pinch and less than a tad. So there's that. And let's see here, got some Johnnies. Use your seasoned salt of choice, okay. Again, however much you like, but the tinier the better, really. We're not going for the seasoned salt flavor, we're using it to bring it out. And one thing a lot of people don't know is salt, just a little bit of salt. We already added some, I know that was to help with the process of the lemon juice, but this actually is going to help with the flavor of the other ingredients. The important thing here is now we're going to actually start taking care of the chunks. All we're going to do is take the back of our spoon here and squish them against the side of the bowl like that. See that? And that's basically going to be our mixing method until we have it all just mixed nicely and smooth throughout. So at this point, after it's all been pretty much broken down, I'll go ahead and add my cheese. About 1/3 of a cup. And just stir it on in. Just to kind of, basically what this does is it breaks up the salad just a little bit, right? So it's not a big clump when you go to take a scoop out. That's the main purpose of adding the cheese at the end. So I know some of you were paying attention at the very beginning and know that I seem to be missing an ingredient. Well, you're right. Actually, we use a tomato in this dish as a garnish. It has great flavor as well, and it does complement to the way it looks at the end. Very gives it a nice color. We do not use the seeds, okay? The seeds aren't necessary here because they just will get in the way of the texture, right? We're still focusing on making sure that the texture pops because our main ingredients are soft ingredients. So it's not really going to help a whole lot. So we just want to make sure that we get the seeds out before we slice them up, right? And basically you just cut them in lengths like this. See that? Pretty easy, really. And so when you're done, you set them up in your salad like this. You just basically decorate all around the salad with the cut tomatoes. So now there is only one more thing left to do. If you are a fan of tomatoes, you know this is true. They need salt if you're going to eat them. So basically you just take a little pinch, right, and just sprinkle it around. Let those tomatoes get a little bit, maybe another pinch, you know, go around the opposite direction. There you go. And as you can tell, I do love have a little bit of salt on my tomatoes. Hopefully this turns out as good as I know mine is, and y'all have a good day.